And I think that, when we witness our parents suffer, like what you did with your father, the impotence that you felt, right? With like frustration and inability to help him at that time, your father. Now it's, this may put everyone emotional here, but in family constellations, what you are doing with your clients is telling your dad, because of you now, I can help so many more people. And in your honor, I am going to, feel what they're feeling as just as I felt what you felt and help them succeed in life. And I think that the more this is a gift you have, Jody, and the more this gift is shared with the world, the more champions and LadyBalls heroines we're going to have in the world. And some of us carry the wounds as medals of honors, even if it's from others, so the others can thrive and succeed in life. And I love that of you. And just there's thunder here right now. Just when I said that, I thought that was a pretty cool God effect. So, wow, Jody, that's, and to your detriment, let's talk about that a little bit, because people think that when you're in a position of leadership, you're a president of a company, a high entrepreneur, high ticket seller, etc., they think that we don't suffer. They think that we don't go through stuff. Yeah. They think and let's talk about a little bit of the shadow aspect of our work. And you just started. I relate with you so much. Like, I do a retreat or I do service, I have to be alone at least for a weekend just to, reset myself and align my body, my mind, my spirit to who I am, not who others are. So tell us a little bit of the challenges that people can actually expect in having, and 1, 2 challenges, and how do you go through them? How do you go? Like Winston Churchill said, if you find hell, if you're going to hell, keep going. So tell us about the challenges. Yes.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of challenges through my business. And obviously, as I evolved, my reasons for doing it changed. When I got pregnant with my daughter and I wanted some time freedom to spend with her. And then when the kids were older and they needed me less, and I even wrote a chapter in a book called My Children, and with my children, I wrote the chapter with my kids, and it was called My Children Are Not My Why, because I got to a point where I'm like, yeah, time and freedom, but my kids don't care how much money I make. My kids don't care about the success of my business. They care that I love them. They care that I nurture them, that I have time for them. And so my kids stopped being my why at one point. So the evolution of what was driving me, at first it was partying, and then it was my children. Now that they're older, they're a bit more expensive. So there's a little bit more. My children have come back. It's like, whoa.
Ain't that the truth?
But I think the biggest hurdles were because of my fierce independence, that I believed I had to be so independent. And I love being independent, and I always will be. But there was definitely an area of, there was definitely some trauma response to my independence, which made me think I had to do it all alone. I had to do it on my own. I can't trust anybody else. I am the only person that needs to be in control, because then no one can let me down. No one can hurt me. And whether that was my business or my relationships, I suffered as a result, because I can't get from A to Z fast enough when I'm trying to do it all myself. So by learning to delegate, bring people into my business that I can trust, hiring people intuitively, knowing that I've got the right support around me, whether that be mentors or team, we are not an island, and we are not cut out for doing it all on our own. So I do believe that the different journey throughout my business life, it definitely came to the people around me, and not thinking I can do it all myself. Even though I technically can do all of the roles within my business, that's not going to grow and scale me and help me, create more change in the world. That's just going to keep me stunted in my growth, because there's only so much one person can do. So yeah, I think definitely bringing the right people around me. But one of the areas, you said 2 things. The other thing was the 2 times I nearly went broke. I was so high on my ego because I was young and I wanted to be validated. And that drove me to make decisions that were not good. But at the same time as having a high ego, I was so deeply obsessed with the youth work that I was doing. And I was working with kids whose family were affected by imprisonment. They were from some horrific backgrounds and households, and a lot of kids who were in the foster system, and even their home environments in the foster system were not good. I became so emotionally involved in that, I nearly went bankrupt. I got myself out of it. And then another time, years later, I did it again. I got involved in a charity. I became so obsessed with the youth work and the events we were doing. I neglected my business and I lost everything all over again. And I did that twice because I didn't have the support, and I became so obsessed with helping that the mismatch between helping people and making money was just like two departments of my brain that I didn't feel went together. Who am I to accept money and create wealth when there's these kids over here that I'm working with who are suffering? I want to help them get over. I want to help them through their suffering and support them the best that I can. Who am I to accept money when these people over here have these horrific situations that they're dealing with? So I had a real mismatch between the money and the helping. And do you know what? I don't even know how I got past that. I think I just had to reframe it. I learned for me to have the most effect in the world and to help the most people that I could, including the youth that we were working with, I could not be on the front line. That's not where I could make the most difference in the world. I would get too emotionally involved. So my power was to step back from that and play a higher role. When I say higher role, I mean I was better to go out and make money and then use that money to give back to the charities where they had the army of frontline workers who were skilled enough to not get emotionally involved. So I think that was a massive turning point. Was, yes, you can help the world, but you can help the world by making money and then using that money for good.
I love that, and I love what you just said, that your feelings these are, like you said, you did it twice. You did the mistake twice, right? Because you didn't have the support or guidance. I did the mistake twice. I married twice and I divorced twice. I repeated the same patterns, and I have a lot of similarities regarding philanthropy and wanting to help everyone. But really, we go back to the putting in the oxygen mask first of ourselves. But again, also, I want to honor the fact that what the traumas that we have when we are children become the medals of wisdom in the future that we can use to change the narrative or reframe the story. And again, you trying to help all those people is like, for me, every time I try to help people, I'm trying to help my mom who is dead already, right? Or help my dad, or help everyone. But in that process, we begin to simmer ourselves into deeper spiritual, mental, financial maturity. And that's what I'm hearing from you today, like a deeper maturity that now, not only in your business, you can lead far much more powerfully, but now you know where your place belongs and where your place doesn't belong. And I think that's very important for leadership, to know when is your turn, where is your turn, and when is not your turn too. And I think that's fantastic. So Jody, with all of this, and I hope people are making notes, because you are giving big wisdom pearls in every single sharing you are doing. Tell me about LadyBalls. How did you come up with that genius name? You are the only person, anytime that I see people copycatting, we know them and all of that, right? And I'm like, why? She cannot use balls. The only person that can use balls is Jody. I cannot even use it.
Do you know what? The title has got so much leverage on its own for attracting people of a similar journey to myself. So LadyBalls, people have so many interpretations of what LadyBalls mean, but it grabs your attention. And I am, for the most part, I'm nurturing and feminine for sure, but I am definitely a higher masculine energy, especially when I'm in the in business mode and work mode, because that's where I'm most efficient, when I'm in my masculine. And so the masculine energy that I have, people used to say to me my whole life, you're very masculine, you're very masculine. And I used to get so offended that they were calling me a man and that I wasn't womanly. And then as I got to understand that, well, that's not how it works, that's not what they're saying, when I understood masculine, feminine energy a little bit more, I realized that there are people like me who have gone through journey and hardship, who have put on this outer shell to protect themselves, where they seem very hard and masculine and in protection mode. And they, at the core of who they are a nurturing, loving person that wants to help others and make a difference in the world.
Yes.
So by using a title like LadyBalls, other than it's hilarious, it brought in the audience, just with that word alone, of people like me. They come in going, LadyBalls, yeah, hardcore, hustle, let's go. And then they come into the LadyBalls realm, and you came and guided the ladies at my retreat. You don't come in there and big balls. You come in there and go, it's like the LadyBalls word itself gathers in my people with their hard, protected shells because of what they've been through. And it brings them into the LadyBalls circle, and it has them realize that we don't have to fight. We don't have to be, the hard exterior. We don't have to protect ourselves to the point where we shut the world out and we shut ourselves off from love and success and all of that. So the word alone brings in my people just by being polarizing and making the people who don't get it not come in, if that makes sense.
Wow. I love that. This is a beautiful system of discernment. Like, the people that are meant to be there, they will, and the others, they will be out. They will be out. I love this. And we have a couple of minutes more, and I love, so when people join, when women join, by the way, LadyBalls, for me, you have always been a very powerful feminine with a masculine that has been allowed. I have a lot of masculine energy too. I believe we're alpha women, and that's something that I want women to know. If you're alpha, don't be ashamed of it. Yes. I try to suppress my alpha ship because, the men that I attracted in my life were so alpha, and I was like, usually the belief is like there's only one alpha in the room, F it. And namaste, everyone. Every time I curse, I will do a namaste just to bring the harmony there, right? But it's, if you're alpha, you have to make peace with the polarities in you. Everybody has masculine and feminine energy. And I love, Jody, that you know how to navigate like a Tesla, where to put the coordinates. For my business, I'm going to use this. For my children, I'm going to use my feminine. But that for me makes you a really powerful woman that is an alpha, that knows herself, that has incredible feelings. And through her feelings, that's totally yin, totally feminine, can actually put herself in the shoes of your clients and help them and serve them to the highest level. So what happens when someone joins LadyBalls? What can they expect?
Well, LadyBalls, as you know, used to be retreats, and there was a LadyBalls program that I never actually launched because, I loved doing the retreats. But with the last, I can't remember how many years since I've really touched LadyBalls, probably 3 years now, what I wanted to do with the new LadyBalls evolution is I wanted to champion the stories of women who had come through adversity. I remember that one of my favorite books, actually, when I was in London launching my business for the first time, I read a book, and it was 10 success stories of millionaires. And there was the usual stuff in there, famous people that we all knew that came from nothing to something. And I remember being so inspired by that book. So the relaunch of LadyBalls, I wanted to create the movement by championing not just my story anymore, but the story of other women that are out there. I want people to share their stories of overcoming adversity from every walk of life, whether that's growing their business, whether that's coming from an abusive relationship and coming out the other side, whether that is coming, escaping war, whatever that is, all the different stories collective to inspire people. Some will resonate with their situations, but everyone's going to resonate with the power of their journey. And so the new LadyBalls is all about women sharing their stories and inspiring others. I want to create an NFT